Okay, we're back from the break. I'm sorry, guys. You know, seniors think they're funny, but yeah, let's keep on going. Where did we leave off?
So we're talking about your mom started.
Oh yeah. She quit her job. Well, she didn't quit. She just took like some time off, and so you know, it gave a toll to my dad to like pick up bad habits and stuff. So it was very difficult. You know, he would come late at night, super drunk. You know, he would smoke a pack like every single day. It was very, very bad. Or maybe like he would smoke a pack like within 2 days. So it was just really bad. You know, it got to the point where my mom and him were fighting, and it was just a whole deal. You know, and at the time, I was so small, and I wasn't even at school yet, or I was transitioning into school, and all I remember was wanting to go to school because I just didn't want to be home. You know, it took a toll on my mental health. Even though I was such a small kid, I just still didn't comprehend why they were fighting. You know, I would see movies as a young kid, seeing how like their parents would be just so happy and stuff. And you know, I would take a step back and look at my parents, and it was just completely different. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was not the way it was supposed to be. And so to me, it was just like, man, this sucks. You know, I don't want to be here. And my sister, you know, she was busy taking care of my siblings because that was her priority. That was like her main job. Shayla, everyone knows her, you know, she was just trying her best with everything. And, you know, I wasn't really a kid that would ask for much. I always felt like a bother just because, you know, everyone just had so many responsibilities within the household. I was just kind of on my own. And so it just felt kind of weird. I felt kind of isolated by myself, but, you know, moving on into elementary school, I went in pretty late. I don't really know why. I think it was just because my mom didn't really have time to like enroll me, and so like I joined like maybe like 2 months after I started, and it took a lot of convincing to go there because my siblings were already going there. So it was kind of a good thing that they let me go in just because of that. And so we all went to the same elementary school, and I would say it was a weird experience because I was the type of kid to like go out and stuff and like play outside, but I didn't really know many kids. Like I lived in a neighborhood where there was just not that many kids, and I remember I had one friend, and he lived behind where I live, like in an apartment complex, and he luckily he was in my kindergarten class, and so we were just talking and stuff, and that was my best friend. You know, I wouldn't say I was a troubled kid, but I was a kid that I was a weird kid. I would doze off a lot. Like I wouldn't really pay attention because it would be so easy for me to doze off, and so that's what I did. You know, I would take naps during class. I wouldn't really listen. You know, I still managed to pass. You know, I don't know how, but I did. Moving into second grade, that's where things kind of went downhill. You know, I had just so much built up anger because of my parents not fixing their problems and like them having anger, and so like, you know, I didn't really have the greatest role model just because I see my dad, and it's like, man, I wanted to look up to him, I wanted to like, you know, but it's just like it was just so hard for me because I would see these other people and these other kids bringing their parents to school and like see how, you know, how happy they are and like how they play with their kids and like all this stuff, and that's like, man, like I wish I had that, you know. I wish that my parents would do that with me. And so I took out the anger with so many kids, and so many kids would just kind of bully me already as it was, and it kind of led me to the point where I kind of just had to defend myself because people would literally push me down and like just hit me for no reason. And so at the time I had anger issues as well. I would get angry really easily. I would just take out my temper on so many people because, you know, I was just tired of getting picked on for like, you know, just the littlest things, because, you know, I did not like cutting my hair when I was younger. You know, my hair was very long, it was raggedy, you know, people would make fun of me because of that. The way I dressed, like, you know, I was such a poor kid, I would like reuse the same shirt every single day, and we had uniforms. So like I literally had like maybe 3 shirts for school, and then 2 pairs of pants. So I would literally reuse the pants and like the shirts every day. And like I said, I was an outside kid, so I'd get dirty a lot, and I would like literally you know, there was so much dirt on my pants, and there was just like stains on my shirt, and we didn't have like a washer. We did, but like it broke down, and so we would have to go to the laundromat to go get our laundry done. And it's like we couldn't because like we only go once a week, and I only have this specific amount of clothes. So I would get bullied because of that, and it took a lot out of me, and I got in a lot of fights when I was younger. Like, I think I would say I got like in a good like 10 fights, in all honesty, when I was in elementary school, just because I just wanted to defend myself. I was just kind of tired of getting picked on, and at that point, it kind of like made me lose a lot of friends and lose a lot of people. I didn't really have many friends to begin with, but there was one or two people that would always stand by my side, and yeah.
So let's kind of go to the point, like the turning point.
Mm-hmm.
Like when in your life did you kind of realize that maybe what you were doing wasn't the best way to go about it, or like where was that realization?
I would say it was pretty late. I would say it's like I would say middle school. I was always isolated as a kid, so moving to middle school, I was really worried because I knew it was a lot bigger, and I knew there's gonna be a lot more kids. And during summer, I just had like a transformation. Like, I got a lot taller, I got a haircut and stuff like that. Like, I look completely different. And plus, I started working a lot, and so like I guess just me being more athletic, I guess it helped me out a lot to fit in more. And 7th grade was I guess it was a fun year because many people started turning around and being like, okay, he might be a cool kid, and so I got accepted a lot more just because of the way I was and not the way I was, but the way I looked. I was a lot taller, I was a lot slimmer than I was, because I was really overweight when I was in elementary school, and working out and stuff like that, working at work really helped me out a lot. And so middle school was where I got lots of friends, and I was like, you know what, maybe people aren't as bad as they seem. And I started hanging out with not the best crowd, to be honest with you. There are kids that weren't doing the best academically. They were just kind of wanting to like hang out and smoke and stuff. But I didn't do that personally. But having people that would be there for you, or so I thought, or like having friends, I thought it was just such a cool feeling. So I kind of stick with that group of people. But getting towards like the ending of 7th grade, I noticed that so many people were just kind of like leaving me behind, and so it was just I was already having family problems again, with my parents and stuff, and my sister, now than ever, she was already a freshman, and she was like really taking care of my siblings, and so I didn't really have anyone to go to. So I was just kind of like, dang, I was just so depressed within 7th grade and 8th grade that I couldn't really go to anyone. So I kind of took it upon myself to bundle up all those feelings, and the only person that's really going to be there for me is myself. And so I feel like that's when the turning point started. 8th grade, I started hanging out with a great group of people. Even though they weren't popular or whatever, I would hang out with those kids that would sit by themselves at like a table, and I would like make our own little group. And I pulled in random people in this little group, and we would literally sit at a specific table, play Uno and stuff like that, all lunch. And we wouldn't hang out outside of school, but we would always just hang out during lunch. And I feel like that was like one of the only things that I would be so eager to do. I would just like wait for lunch because that was my favorite hour to be at, because I just had I didn't have so many friends, but like those people were like my really good friends, even though there was like only 4 of us. So I feel like that was a great experience, just having that, knowing that you have people around you that really care and that are doing really well academically, and that really did help out my grades as well. 7th grade, my grades were garbage, and I'm not really a school guy, I'm really not. But 8th grade, surrounding myself with those people made me feel like I could do it too. So I feel like that was my turning point. And then me getting that second semester in 8th grade, I moved to another school close to Apache. It's called Fremont, and I would say I kind of went downhill. My grades started slipping because it felt bad. Finally starting to find myself, starting to find happiness, and then going to a school where it's like I don't have anyone, restarting again, and it sucked. But luckily, it was not that hard of a transition. One of my good buddies, I sometimes talk to until this day. He kind of brought me into this group. Well, he didn't really. The teacher, my math teacher, was like, "Oh, you have A lunch, so you're gonna have." And then Miguel, because that's his name, he was like, "Yo, can you like bring him with you guys? Can you like bring him into your group? Because you know, I'm worried for him to like just be on his own. And so I really appreciate that the teacher did that, because you know, now I have a group of people to hang out with. The first day, what's it called? Me and Miguel were just kind of hanging out by ourselves, and then within the second day, we started hanging out. He started introducing me to this group of friends, and that's when like things got, it went well. But again, you know, they weren't really that group of people that wanted to do things with their life. But as long as I had a group of people to hang out with, I feel like I was okay. But I didn't realize how much it was making me like downgrade. You know, my grades started slipping again, and like things started slipping again. And but you know, I enjoyed it. I made friends. It was a good experience hanging out with them. We would hang out outside of school. Like that was like the first time I've ever hanged out with people outside of school. Like I would never hang out with people just because people wouldn't invite me. People just I just never really had that many friends to hang out with in the first place. So having that group of friends and going to like the fair and going out to eat and stuff, it was a new experience for me, you know, and it was a good experience. But yeah, that's basically what happened, you know, and yeah.
So let's kind of getting more to high school. So how did JROTC kind of like specifically impact you? Like, what role would you say JROTC kind of played in your life, and what role do you think it kind of plays now?
Freshman year, I went to Red Mountain, and I went to an ROTC there. It's an Army ROTC, and my sister influenced my mom, because she was already in ROTC. So she influenced my mom to make me go to ROTC, because I didn't really want to go to ROTC in the first place, but like, but I did, and so I joined. It was really cool. I thought it was really cool. The environment of it was very nice. You know, I started making new friends. It was a great experience. But then again, it's a lot different than what it is here. A lot different. I thought that ROTC over there was great, but then I had to move once again because my grades were slipping. So I moved back over here, and it was totally different. I didn't like it. Like, I wouldn't say I didn't like it. I was being hard-headed, because again, I had to leave another group of people that I really did truly like, and then restart again. So when I first came here, I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to join. I was giving my parents a hard time about it. You know, I was just telling them, like, you know, I don't want to join stuff. But it took me like a month or two to actually open up to it, because my sister kind of made me come into the break room and eat here. And so I did. And after that, you know, I saw how cool people were. I saw how people kind of mingle with other people, and it made me realize how I was. That's how I was. You know, me trying to grab people and taking them out of their shell, and you know, and so that's what I did. You know, I started opening up to them, and I would say it made me realize who I truly am, and you know, what my purpose was when I was like in elementary school, like even middle school. Like, it made me realize what I wanted to do and how I was when I was younger, and that's the person that I was. So yeah, I would say that was pretty much what it made me realize.
Okay, so you know, you had that realization within JROTC. So let's talk about like kind of JROTC itself. What like event or activity was your favorite, or what event like impacted you the most, you would say?
I would say it's not really an event or like an activity, but it was when I was chief, like my CTLs, they impacted me the most, in all honesty. Me training up those cadets for them being the people that they are today was just such a blessing to me. You know, for the longest time, I've always wanted you know, to show people my true potential, and to show them who I really am. And you know, for the beginning, I was kind of being someone that I wasn't. I was being this guy that, you know, was so egotistical, and that wasn't me. And so like, as time went on, I opened up to them, and you know, I started being the person that I am. And that was when people started coming to CTOs and started, you know, accepting me for who I am. And you know, I finally didn't have to be someone different to be accepted. I could finally be myself, and people accept me for who I am. And that's what my cadets gave me. You know, they gave me the chance to like be myself, and I could be myself around them without getting judged or anything. You know, obviously people aren't gonna like you for who you are, like most of the time, but it felt nice knowing that I was actually being myself with them and being, you know, I didn't have to be someone else that I wasn't.
Yeah. So, you know, this episode is about an hour and 10 minutes right now, so we're gonna go ahead and start like wrapping things up a bit. But I just wanted to know, like, what would be your biggest piece of advice for people coming into JROTC, or, you know, next year seniors, or what would be your biggest piece of advice?
So tying in with like everything that I just said, you know, it's kind of like a realization. It's a consistent thing that I kind of had to deal with. Is like an identity crisis, I guess I would say. Like, for the longest time, I just wanted to be accepted, and I wanted to be someone that, you know, that people could go to and stuff. And because I've never really had that. I've never had that in my life. I never really had someone that I could go to and talk about my personal problems or anything like that. And you know, and for the longest time, I was trying to be someone that I wasn't. And I guess knowing who you really are and loving yourself is like the biggest advice I could give to someone. Because if you try to be someone that you're not, and like, let's say, you know, you're down here, you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, and you just want to be accepted, you're not gonna get anywhere in life, man. You're just gonna stay with those bums. You know, there's this quote that I go by. It's like, want me to show you your future, then show me your group of friends. And it makes a lot of sense, man. Like, you know, if I'm over here hanging out with like lots of bums that don't want to do anything with their life, you know, smoking, you know, drinking and just partying every day, you know, where am I gonna go from there? But if you're hanging out with people that like have their mindset straight, that know where they want to be, know what college they want to attend, already have those scholarships, you know, all these different things, that's where you know that you're gonna be successful, because you're there with that type of mindset. You're not with the people that just want to party all night and stuff. Knowing who you really are is the way to go, and you know that's something that no one will ever take away from you. You know, don't be too eager to fit in. Just be yourself, and the people that truly care will accept you for who you are. That's the biggest advice that I could give you guys. Don't forget who you are. What about you?
So for me, I have two things.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is like the very first lesson I learned from my parents when I moved in with my dad, and that is always be proud of what you put your name to. I remember like the exact time they told me those words. We were working on a project for school, and I didn't want to try. Like I was turning in bad work. This was like right after I moved in with my dad. Like I was just going through that like beginning stages of depression and anxiety, and I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to turn in good work. And so, you know, my parents eventually just sat down with me and they were like, listen, you need to like always be proud of what you put your name to, because, you know, people are always going to be watching you, and this is how you build your reputation. This is how you build your legacy. And so, you know, at the time I didn't really understand entirely what that meant. You know what I mean? Like, I understood what the words meant, but I didn't understand the deep meaning behind it. And as I grew up, I just constantly started reflecting those words, and it's kind of become my personal motto. Every single thing that I put myself through, whether it be work, school, JROTC, speech and debate, clubs, like those words are always going through my mind. Be proud of what you put your name to. Be proud of what you put your name to. Yeah. And so I'm always trying to find the best way to be myself, and the best way to do the best way to go about the opportunities I'm given. But the second thing I would say, and this isn't mine at all, this is from someone who speaks for Speak Up, Stand Up, Save a Life. And this is something also that my dad had given to me. And it's, your condition is not your conclusion. I think you've heard from both of us. You know, he was the group commander, and I was the ops commander and the vice commander. And, you know, we both come from difficult pasts. Like, we both have had difficult things happen to us. But we both also understand that the things we went through do not define who we are. Your condition is not your conclusion. The things you went through are not what you will become. So I think that's my biggest piece of advice, especially in these last couple years with some of the kids that I've had to talk to and talk through, You know, we've had a lot of people that have been struggling with life and struggling with things that go on at home and personal life. And I always tell them, you know, what you're going through right now does not need to be who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to define it doesn't need to define everything you are. And so those are my biggest two pieces of advice for anybody coming into JROTC and kind of going through life.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to like the first quote that you said. It's like, you know, that, like, it's so true. You know, you guys need to listen to your parents, because, like, in all honesty, I was a hard-headed kid too. You know, I didn't want to listen to my dad or my mom telling me, you know, advice. But in all honesty, man, like, they're speaking from experience. Like, they're trying to make us learn from their mistakes, and you guys should most likely take it, because, man, I wish I took their advice way earlier. You know, they're not trying to just pick on you. They're literally trying to help you out. I literally just realized that into like freshman year, sophomore year. So don't be as hard-headed. Listen to your parents now, guys, because in all honesty, they're talking from experience. And people with more experience are people that know what they're doing in life, and they're more wiser than us, in all honesty. And to add on to what he said, you know, this is what I tell all my first years. You know, it's like, it doesn't matter what's going on right now. What matters is where you want to be in the future, and that ties in with what he said. You know, don't, you know, whatever's going on right now, it's whatever, guys. Like, literally, yeah, it must suck, but like, you know, I had that mindset for the longest time, and I wasn't going anywhere. I really wasn't. And you know, now that I actually left in the past, and I know where I want to be, I know that I want to be successful. Then, you know, I'm over here trying my best. I'm talking to everyone that I can. I'm getting advice from lots of people. You know, so really work hard for what you want to be, and you'll get there. You know, me and him have gone through so much crap, but yet no one really knows that. And people just think that we're just living such a good life. You know, like he has so much scholarships. You got like, what, $60,000 worth of scholarships, man? Like, that's outstanding. And you wouldn't expect someone to get like 60K. Like, if you were, you know, from someone that was such a young kid going through lots of problems at home to someone that he is now, that's outstanding. You know, that's crazy. You could really, really switch up your life. And we're living proof, man. Like, I literally had to, like, there's days where me and my mom would literally go through garbage and try to find our next meal because we didn't have money, to someone that's like here trying to make up their own business and trying to, like, you know, live life and learn from our mistakes that we had earlier, and not, you know, not have my kids go through that, because I know dang well I don't want my kids to go through that. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is our last episode. You know, it's not that fun and entertaining. I'm sorry, guys. This was more of a, like, our goodbye words, because again, we are graduating. Graduation's like literally 2 days from now. You know, thank you guys for giving us the honor to lead. We really did enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I know Caldwell enjoyed it as well. It was stressful, but literally I would never, like, switch it for the world. You know, I would always want these memories to be there. I love the stress. But yeah, man, this is our last episode.
I mean, before we kind of wrap things up, I just kind of want to give my closing statement as well. Like, I just kind of want to thank everyone that we've worked with. You know, this year's sophomores and freshmen. You know, you guys are really great people. You know, we've gotten on you guys a lot. We've acted as very disciplinary figures. We've acted as mentors and teachers, and honestly, we've grown close to a lot of you. And even though it may not seem like that to you guys, like, we honestly are really proud of where you guys are going. And we have, like, a special relationship with you guys. Even if some days you may wonder what that relationship looks like, we honestly do care so much about you guys. You know, you'll most likely be seeing us the next few years up until our freshmen graduate.
Yeah.
This won't be the last time you hear from us or see from us. But yeah, I mean, I just want to thank all of you guys. It's been a pleasure working with you and getting the opportunity to kind of be your second in command and lead. And yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun, man.
It's been fun, man. So, you know, I'm your host, Cadet Uribe. This is my co-host,
Cadet Caldwell.
and we're out. Peace.